Yo, what is going on YouTube? Welcome to episode 34 of the Casual Weebs podcast. I mean, listen, this week of anime was phenomenal. Like, here's the best part, too. Peaktober is in full effect. And it's not just because we have incredible, phenomenal anime. Dude, it's the atmosphere that I've been feeling this week. We got the nice chill outside. It's cold. You got the sweatpants on, the hoodie. You got the blankets. You're just like, the environment to now watch this incredible anime. It is just the best. This is just literally it feels like Peaktober now because it's just the environment to watch the anime itself. It's just absolutely incredible. We had a video where we talked about sneak peek of the fall season. We brought up a couple of animes that we're like, hey, we're not seeing a lot of hype about these, but they look like they could be promising. You brought up Yakuza Fiance. I binged the first three episodes, absolutely phenomenal. Like really, really good. We're gonna be getting into that. We're gonna be getting into so many. I have 15 pieces of paper here of so many different animes to talk about. We're kind of worried that we might have to just cut it short because it's gonna go on too long. We don't want to go for 2, 3 hours. But if you're looking forward to, from the last episode, a free Crunchyroll subscription, you ain't getting it because I wrote down the goddamn names on every piece of paper. So I remembered this time. No free subscriptions today. Maybe next time. But dude,
Legend.
seriously, so much to go over. Yakuza Fiance was absolutely phenomenal. I did not expect I'd enjoy it that much. It is actually really good, and what a start to the third episode. ReZero has been absolutely killing it. Blue Box is phenomenal. Dude, I've been telling you this is going to be the romance anime of the year, and it is delivering. DanDaDan absolutely killing it. Who knew that the grandma was going to be like that? I was expecting some crippled, like, just old lady, you know what I mean? Not like hello. Like, all right, here we go. I mean, Blue Lock, Miss Servant, and then Blue Miburo. I can't really pronounce it, but honestly, a really good first episode of that. We're gonna be getting to that as well. Just so many good animes. I mean, October is fucking phenomenal, and we're not even talking about all of them. There's still Shangri-La Frontier. There's still Kenshin. Like, there's a good amount. So we're gonna get into what we can, and I think we're gonna have another video coming out soon where we're gonna be breaking down all of the animes, little fall check in. You know what I mean? It's going to be a couple of weeks. We're going to check in, kind of see where they're at, what's looking promising, our top picks going into the rest of the season, but then also maybe a tier list. Who knows? Who knows? We might get fancy with it.
Ooh,
Ooh.
let's do it. I like
Last
that
time.
idea.
Last time we did a tier list, we pissed off the number one anime right now, which is the Bleach fan base. So you know what? I'm down to go for another one.
Let's do it. Hell yeah.
What do you want to get into first though this week?
You wanna
Yakuza
you wanna start with
Fiance?
Yakuza? Yeah, bro. Let's do it.
Yeah. Dude.
So like when I first like looked at that, I'm just like,
Mhm.
oh, it's got like a different, unique art style. Like it gives like kind of like '90s, early 2000s vibes, but with like
Mhm.
modern color and animation. I'm like, oh, I'll check it out. But I didn't think like it would be as exciting and like kind of action packed as it is. But then also like some of the like dialogue, like some of the stuff they say is super intense and like fits the Yakuza vibe really well. So I was super impressed. And I also didn't know they come out on Mondays, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, episode 3 started off with a heater, to say the least.
Yeah. So you didn't see it, but I was like, yo, you gotta just watch like the first 10 seconds, just real quick. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you weren't lying.
Yeah, yeah. It's a start. It's a start for sure. And that episode actually is like really good too. We ended up meeting. Remember in the end of the episode season. At the end of episode 2, there was that kind of stare down between the two guys. And it was kind of just looking at
The
him
guy on the
outside of school.
motorcycle.
Yeah, we end up meeting him and kind of finding out his story. He's fucking cool too. Like, he's really cool. So I was completely blown away by it. I kind of looked at it, like, first glance was kind of like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. Like, the animation is like not bad. But whenever I see like animation like that, I'm like, it feels like it's like in this day and age low production, so it's not going to be like as good. You know what I mean? Like, the animation style really complements the art style, where like it looks really good. Like, when you look at the cover, you just look at the basic art, you're kind of like, oh, it just seems like it's not going to be like a low budget. They don't expect much. But then you actually watch it, like, holy shit, this looks really aesthetically pleasing. It looks amazing. They complement each other very well. The actual anime itself is phenomenal. Yashino is absolutely, or Yoshino is absolutely amazing. She's so fucking cool. Like she's like this like clash. I don't know what to kind of say. Like, she's one part normal, and another part is like, yeah, she's a part of the Yakuza. Like 100%. You know what I mean? Like, she's ghetto as fuck. She will fuck you up. You know what I mean? It is just like it's just so awesome. And her with Kirishima is actually really cool too. Kirishima, like you kind of love how much of a piece of shit he is. You know, like it kind of becomes like nice. You know what I mean? It kind of becomes like his character. We're kind of like, yeah, that's our Kirishima, man. Like just typical piece of shit. But then the way that she interacts with him is so good. I thought it would be like really bad because I'm like, in first episode, Kirishima just seems like an over the top piece of shit, and then she seems very defenseless and weak. You know what I mean? And you kind of just like, oh, this is gonna suck. Just watching her get it like fucking tortured by this dude. You know, harassed by him psychologically. You know, messed with. But then you kind of realize, oh, she's ghetto as like she's gonna fuck with him way more than he's gonna fuck with her. You know what I mean? He makes a comment about like, oh yeah, you should go sell your body. All you are is a pretty face. So she quite literally sells her kidney, and it's like what the like she's almost as bad as him. Like I actually think that she's like kind of worse than him, but like the relationship between those two is just so good, and the characters are amazing. I love her grandpa. Her grandpa is awesome.
Her grandpa's great, and like I thought the way they started off episode one was really funny. Just like, hey, you're gonna marry this guy, like
Yep.
your classic arranged marriage in the modern day, like.
Hmm.
And they did a good job of kind of leading Kirishima up, like, kind of seemed like an okay guy who was just like, maybe in a storely family, and then like as you keep seeing their dynamic, you learn like what a straight up garbage dude he is. But
Hmm.
that comes with the territory of being a yakuza and having to kind of earn respect in that underworld. And like through the whole first episode, you're like, man, Yoshino has no chance. She's like really screwed
Yeah.
here, and she's like trying to keep it down. And like when she calls her grandfather, not like break down and stuff, and make it seem like it's going good. And he's like, yeah, just a year. Make him fall in love with you and break with him. It was like, oh, all right, grandpa, some real like dastardly stuff. Like that is how you hurt a man. But like their dynamic is actually pretty good. Like you said, she sells her kidney and she kind of like steps down to Kirishima's level. Once he like really insults her and she kind of finds out who he really is, she does a really good job of like just being like, all right, let's go. Like I can play this way too. And I think she doesn't want to admit that, but like she does have that like Yakuza blood in her, if you will.
Absolutely, but there's a lot of scenes where like she acts just like him or just as bad. Like that end scene over the end of the first episode where she snaps is so fucking awesome. She drops like the 4 million on his desk, pretty much says, "Hey, I sold my kidney. You can keep the profits," which is kind of fucking crazy. But then she's like, "Yeah, I'll go toe to toe." And she looks at the girls who put like mud in her locker, and she's like, "You guys want to fucking go? I don't give a shit. I will be crawling bloody and dead on the floor, you know, trying to drag you fuckers down to hell with me. You think I give a shit?" I'm like, oh my god, like I am kind of turned on. like
And then
I,
Kirishima's like, he's like, I'm in love with you. I'm like, yeah, me too, bro. Same.
like,
That was great.
like I can
She
kind
just
of,
dropped the bag
yeah,
like right in front of the whole class. Like, all right, what's up, bitch?
like I can kind of see like what he's into. Like you kind of were like in the beginning, like, oh, this, like, and it's funny because you're like it's crazy, like he's yakuza. You got to do what you got to do to gain respect. Even everyone thinks he's a masochist piece of shit. That's what they kept calling him. Like other like yakuza members, like, dude, you're such a masochistic piece of shit, bro. Like, what is wrong with you? But like, and you're kind of like, dude, what is wrong with this guy? But then you get that scene, you're like, kind of like, oh, like, you know what? I see it. I see what he means now, because that's kind of badass, you know what I mean? He was just kind of like, you can do whatever you want to me, like, I don't care what happens, I'll drag you fuckers the hell with me. It's like, you know what? She is one of my favorite female characters ever. She's so cool. So cool.
She rocks. And then she like totally steps up in episode two when they go to kind of investigate
The
the
missing
girl.
daughter.
Yeah, and I forget what her dad did. He like bailed on debts, I think, or stole money from
Nah, she
another
did. So
country.
she liked underground poker, so she ended up cheating at the tables
Yes.
and then ran away with the money from the mafia or whatever. So yeah, her dad, who was like one of the heads of the factions, was then in trouble with the Sir Mafia.
Yeah, so like she's like still hiding out
Hmm.
in town. Yoshino recognizes her, and then the episode goes on and they kind of figure out what's going on and make some money off of that whole situation. But in the middle of that, like she kind of steps up and helps fight with Kirishima, even though like she doesn't feel maybe romantically attracted to him. She still like took his side in that fight and like stood up for him. You know what I mean? And had his back. Like it was like, all right. I like their dynamic, and even though they're kind of like, I don't want to say cats and dogs, like, because Kirishima acts like he's head over heels for her, but like, just their dynamic has been awesome so far, and I definitely did not expect such like a, I don't know the right word, maybe eccentric and electric kind of like first couple episodes. So definitely loving it. She's an outstanding MC.
I don't think that they're cats and dogs at all. I think that they're two fucking deranged wild dogs. Because like, there's even that scene where you're talking about where she gets hit and she gets that same demonic yellow glowing eyes that he has. Where she
Yeah.
has that same ruthless killer instinct where it's like, oh, I'll fucking kill you. And she actually comes at the dude and actually like kind of like tries to kill him. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like it's in their DNA. You know what I mean? Like they're just fucking badasses. They're just yakuza. It's like don't fuck with them. They will fuck you up. And it's just like kind of cool to see. Except she has that like I guess they both have like that switch where they're both kind of yakuza and both kind of like she's normal and then he's just a psychopath. So like I guess that's where the cat and dogs, but they both have that side of them where it's like yo like you don't fuck around and find out. You don't want that.
Yeah, which I think makes for like a really cool cast. You know what I mean? You have two like really cool badass characters, and then obviously we get introduced to the guy on the motorcycle at the end of episode 2 and
Oh, he's
episode 3, and
awesome.
like I'm really looking forward to seeing how they build the cast and like kind of how they interact with the two main characters, and just really good. I would definitely encourage people to check it out. Like it's a little, I guess, more mature, compared to something like, You Are Miss Servant, but still really good. And I would say like just really exceeded my expectations. I'm locked in this season. Yeah, beginning of episode 3, I'm sold. Outstanding. Outstanding. So brave.
So brave. Hey, you think he's selfish, but I guess he's not. You know what I mean? Like
There's hard evidence to say that he's not.
character development. Our boy's growing. Our boy's growing and eating. But like he
Oh yeah, right?
no, but like
Perfect.
that episode, it's so good because that dude on the motorcycle is kind of like him. You know what I mean? Except it's like a different version, which is just really, really, really cool. And you just kind of see more of the people that are surrounding her in her life. You know, because it kind of deals with her family again. Because something I'm not gonna get into it, so I don't spoil it. But yeah, it's just a really good episode. And let's just say that the last scene is the confrontation between him and the other dude, Kirishima, I think his name is.
I knew it. It's like there's no way these two are just gonna be buddy buddy.
So episode four, well, nothing actually happens. They kind of just say hi. In episode 4 is gonna be where they really kind of like I guess confront each other. But I can't wait to see that because that's gonna be interesting. Like you're gonna see kind of like her relationship with the mystery dude on the motorcycle, and it's gonna be like oh this is gonna be really good. It's gonna be awesome.
Dude, I gotta say, first couple episodes have really roped me in. I've said it a bunch of times, like beat my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all in. I think it's gonna be definitely a sleeper this season, but one that I really enjoy. Hopefully, it stays that way and kind of carries through that way the whole season.
I completely agree. But what do you want to move on to next?
Um, let's do Blue Box, dude.
Dude, Blue Box is so good. I'm absolutely loving it.
You were definitely right. Definitely the romance of the year. I think we've got a really great cast. Introducing Haryu, the kind of like he's a second year, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, second year high schooler on the badminton team.
I think he was the only
With
freshman that made varsity and that even kind of went to nationals. And now it's his second year. And now it's the whole thing that they're
yeah,
talking about, where it's like, oh, if you actually want to make it to nationals in your first year, you're gonna have to do what he did. So good luck with that. He's like the only one to really do it.
and like I don't know. This is kind of like I feel corny saying this, but like the whole episode where Haryu's using that nickname for Chinatsu, like he gets all like flustered and
Oh,
like busted
Chi?
up by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. That shit is so real. Like if you've ever had a crush on a girl and you hear something like that, you're like, oh damn, no way. And it was just like so relatable, bro. But like I don't know, they do a really good job of like having fun with it and telling a story, and like the characters are great, but I don't know, some of that is like very genuine. Like I can remember, having little crushes in high school, and like I don't know, just feels like pretty organic. I gotta say
Well,
that's like an aspect I've really liked so far.
that's like the last episode, but we didn't talk about the episode before that. So that was really awesome because okay, she said that she watches him at the gym as well. You know what I mean? Like he kind of always glances over and watches her play basketball. He doesn't realize that she's doing the same to him. She's constantly watching him playing badminton and shit. So like our boy's doing well, and they also have the matching bracelets now. That's huge.
Oh yeah, that
Like,
was cute.
dude, there's so many moments where it's just like fucking adorable. Or it's just like, oh my god, bro.
And when I guess they're like they don't want to leave the gym or the park together. They like play badminton for a little bit, and then he's like, oh well, I don't want to see you. I don't want to be seen walking home together and like give people the wrong idea and embarrass you or whatever. And she's like, okay, I gotcha. And then like when she's walking home, she's like, oh, so that's what you think of it is. You think it's embarrassing, but
Oh
like
no,
she
no, I
clearly
think you.
doesn't feel that way.
No, I think you. I got a different interpretation of that. So
How did you take that?
So the way I took that was is that he said, it's embarrassing for me to be walking home with you because people are gonna then see us go to the same home, and like I'm gonna get a bunch of questions and shit like that. And when she was kind of walking away, what she whispered to herself was, "Oh, you think it's just hard on you?" Like it was like a difficult
Yeah.
thing for her to be like, oh, like I don't, you know what I mean, like if people are gonna like pick on her for liking him, stuff like that, but she wanted to do it anyways. It wasn't like an easy thing. Like that's where she got took it as, oh, you think it's just easy for me? Like it isn't, because people are then gonna give me shit too, or like like not even give shit, like make fun of, but like like tease, kind of bring up, point out.
Like those high school rumors, like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember it back in my day. You know what I mean? Like people start rumors like, "Oh,
But
he
that's
likes
what.
her, she likes him," and you're like,
Mhm.
you're either all about it or not. And like, I could see why you would want to avoid the drama, especially living together. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, just very cool. Like that whole dynamic is really, really kind of cute.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like my boy's doing well, but she had no problem with Haru walking around with him. She's got a problem with our boy, Taki. So right, Taki, yeah, Taki. Fuck yeah, I wrote it down. But like that's what I'm saying though. Like he's got it in the bag, bro. Because like she's a little nervous, like walk home with him, what people think. She's got the matching bracelet. She watches him as well. And going back to the last episode where we kind of talked about over text, where I was like, oh my god, fucking diabetes. It was so goddamn adorable. When
Yeah.
he was in the group and getting picked on, and she whispered like, hey, you're doing great. Like you're doing a great job. It's like, oh my god, fucking single.
Yeah, it was like, ah, damn. I was dying when you said that. But it was like a really cool moment. That was my favorite part of that episode because Aryu kind of like plays the senpai and like, yeah, he's picking on him and making fun of him, basically like eviscerates his badminton game.
Hmm.
It says he's got holes everywhere, he hits shots too long, he's like flat footed. But right before that, that second game, the second badminton match they played against each other was 21-17. So Taiki did way better and like you get that one scene of him hitting the smash.
Hmm.
It was like, all right, he can kind of keep up. Obviously, Haryu's, his senpai's got more experience and he's a better badminton player because he's older. But at the same time, like you said, our boy's doing well. He's got a lot of game on and off the court.
Yeah, like his improvement was insane because I don't know if you like something that she also said was that like he actually won in the second half. He's like in the time it took Haru to score those last 10 points. She's like you scored like 11 or 12. Like you actually outscored him in that second half. You just had a really bad start. So it's like that's super impressive. And now he's being trained by Haru because now they're doubles partners, which is just phenomenal for him, bro. Like getting that kind of regiment is huge. But that's the funny thing that bringing up where you were saying that he's playing the senpai and like ripping him apart. Up until this point, he's been like the villain. You know what I mean? Where he's been the guy who we
Yeah.
didn't know that Chi was is what everyone called her in her class. You know what I mean? We thought it was just him. It's not something special. It's not some special like little pet name that only he calls her. So like before that, it was just like, oh, he calls her Chi, and like, oh, they walk home together. What are they? All this other stuff. He thinks she's cool, but then in that moment where then he goes and then rips her apart, we then find out that hey, there was nothing to worry about. He's got a girlfriend. He then complimented Taiki a lot. It was like, hey man, but like he's gonna be really good. Like I can just tell he never gave up, even though I tried to run this fucker into the ground. I tried to make him puke and take it too far, and he still kept up, which is just insane.
Yeah.
Being able to go the distance, someone trying to break you and you're not breaking is actually fucking huge. And then if he's able to just keep up that regiment, I mean, dude, I'm not saying he's gonna win nationals. He's definitely not going to the first time around, but like that's what's going to push him to make it, and that's going to be absolutely awesome. You can tell that this Haru guy is not going to be competition anymore, but really just going to be a great person to have, especially because he knows that Taki has a crush on her, and he's fucking with him. He's sitting there, and he's like,
So
he made the
good,
comment.
dude.
It's like, oh, bro, you're never gonna get a girlfriend because he realizes that he thought that he was competition. He's like, you wait, you thought me? He's like, oh, bro, you're never gonna get a girlfriend when Shinizu was right there, dude. That kind of stuff is just so funny. You can tell that that's gonna be his relationship with him in the whole series is just kind of being that person in the middle that knows, you know what I mean, and then kind of just keeps
Yeah.
pointing, poking at it. It's gonna be so good.
which I think is kind of what Taiki needs because he's not the
Hmm.
most confident fellow. And like you made a really good point when Chinatsu's like, yeah, you won the second half. You got to whatever 11 or 12 faster than he got to 10. So like you did really good. You outplayed him in the second half, even though you lost.
Hmm.
Like he, the whole time through that whole conversation, is just like, it doesn't matter. I lost. Kind of had a negative outlook because he lost, even though he did play really well. Especially the more they played, the better he was getting.
Hmm.
So like I think he just needs confidence, and I think Haryu's the perfect kind of guy. Like he's like the male version of Chinatsu. It seems like very popular. He's like tall and good looking. Like seems to be like really well liked at school. Like that's the kind of guy that I think was perfect for Taiki to like kind of like you said push him and get him to that level where he can feel confident in and out of the court, and also like achieve his goals of making it to nationals, but then succeeding there because it's one thing to make it, but then once you make it, you don't want to just bow out quick. You want to do
Yeah.
well. So I don't know if there'll be, more doubles or more singles focused in the badminton aspect, but I'm like really interested in seeing that. Obviously, like Chinatsu playing basketball, but I don't know. I'm kind of into the whole badminton part of it too. I want to see like where our boy goes.
Dude, that's gonna be so interesting. And like you were saying, like Haru's a good influence both on and off the court because he is teasing him both on and off the court. He's seeing that Taiki is like struggling in the one exercise routine, and it's like, oh yeah, she really likes athletic guys. She's gonna want a higher
Yeah,
caliber dude, and all of a sudden he picks up the pace and keeps going. Oh, you need a break? Are you tired? Just let me know. Just let me know. He's like, no, I'm good.
I'm good. So good, dude. And like that.
Yeah.
That's another anime. Like only 3 episodes in, um, and like I'm like fully invested. It's
Hmm.
been like such a good couple episodes. Like I definitely can't wait to see how far Taiki goes and kind of how their relationship develops.
I will say, if I look at my little list here, like Yakuza Fiance, after these 3 episodes, yeah, I'm there, I'm in. The Blue Box, let's go. Blue Lock, like all of these animes. That's the crazy thing. It's not just it's such a long goddamn list, but like it's such a list of heavy hitters this season. Like it is
Yeah,
just so good. Like I'm there waiting each and every week for every single one of these. It's not like, oh, there's a couple where it's like, oh, if I got free time, yeah, I'll watch those, but there's like my main few. Like these are all my main few. You know what I mean? These are all the ones where I'm looking
yeah.
for each and every week. They're just so good. They grab you in, and it's like, oh my god, this season's a different breed. It's insane.
And like I totally agree with you with like the fall weather. As soon as it hits like 50s and is like sunny out, that hoodie weather,
Mm-hmm.
all about it, dude. So good. But like yeah, all these are like heavy hitters, and we're not even talking about Thousand Year Blood War,
Mm-hmm.
like My Hero, One Piece, like some of those like kind of staple big name animes. Like these are a lot of these are premieres, you know what I mean? And they've done such a good job. I feel like it really has lived up to the hype. And we were saying Peaktober for how long? It really is that good. This was like one of the most full and well-rounded weeks of anime we've had this year by far.
Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible. Like I'm just waiting each and every, and the best part is like each and every day, like there's that new anime that comes out because like Yakuza Fiance is on Monday. We usually never get like a Monday anime. You know what I mean? Like we got stuff like on
Yeah,
every single day. It's like, oh yes, we're blessed. Let's go.
so good. Yeah, very grateful for it. It's been a sick couple weeks. And then even like Blue Miburo, that comes out kind of later in the season, a little bit behind. Really good and emotional like first episode. Definitely did not go the way I was thinking. As far as like
Yeah.
my
Oh my
my
god.
guess was, but like really good pilot, and I'm like locked in on that. I really want to see kind of where Neo goes, and um just like the kind of group of guys they have back in Miburo, because they sound like they call them the Wolves, but like a pretty badass bunch of dudes.
Let's actually transition perfectly into Blue Beamer for a second, but then we got to go into Blue Lock. DanDaDan, Mister. We got some shit to go through, boys. We're on a tight schedule here, dude. Blue
We're on a
Beamer.
roll.
I am loving it mainly for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't even know if I brought this up in the beginning. I think I meant to, but I didn't. This is a big anime where I really, really, really hate Crunchyroll for getting rid of the reviews and comment sections because it's got a 4.7, and I don't know why. Why is it being undergraded in my opinion? You know what I mean? And since you don't have comment sections or reviews, you don't have the explanation. Is it because of like the voice acting? Is it because of the adaptation from the manga? Like what is it? What is something that people have a problem with? Because I saw that going into it, I'm like 4.7, like that's not bad. But I thought it would be a little bit better, and then I go and watch the episode. I'm like, oh, this was really good. Why is this 4.7? This has good animation. I absolutely love the story. The story is really good. I was really hooked and entertained the entire first episode, and you can just tell from the opening with all the scenes that it's going to get way better because he's going to start training and actually become like a badass. And there's going to be a ton of action. You know what I mean? So it's like it's only going to get better. So it's like what's the problem with this? I thought that the characters were absolutely phenomenal. I think the Miburo is awesome. Like the wolves, they're the Veronis. Right, Veroni. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, like Hijikata and Soji.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're a part of it. Like they all came to help the shogunate. Then after the war, a bunch of them left, but a group of them stayed, and they were told that they were, oh no, they're crooks, they're killers, they're awful. And he's like, Neo's like, I don't think they are. Neo seems like a badass. That kid is like perceptive as fuck. He sees everything. He's got the Sharingan, bro. Like don't you doubt it.
Dude, he's got the Sharingan abilities with the Gojo Satoru look, the white hair and the blue
Yeah.
eyes. Guy's just, he's blessed. What can we
Dude,
say?
he's got the white hair. You gotta know he's gonna be fucking broken as fuck. But that's the one thing I also really liked about this anime is that like it's like okay, let's look at Elusive Samurai. All right, kid MC, so we're gonna surround him by kids. Kind of hate that because it's kind of like stupid in a way. You know what I mean? It's kind of like all right, so a
It's
bunch of kids
almost
are gonna win a war.
unbelievable. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, a bunch of like grizzled war vets from like one of the hardest times in like human history. Wow, I just got cut down by an 8-year-old. Like,
yeah.
not the most believable, but yeah, I'm definitely with you.
And I like how this anime for once was like, okay, we're gonna have the kid MC, but he's gonna be with adults. You know, you have two guys that look like they're in their mid to late 20s, probably mid 20s, but it is anime, so like if a character looks 25, they're probably 17, but like still same
Yeah.
difference. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, these guys are actually like built. They're actually like warriors. They're badass, and they have a ton of personality. Like Blue Mibaro, Mibaro looks like, in my opinion, Kenshin, but in my opinion, better because it just has more personality, and I feel like it's gonna be a lot smoother in the way it's paced, in the way the story's told.
I like the bright colors. It kind of gives it a different
Hmm.
vibe. Like I feel like Kenshin's very dark. There's a lot of like blacks and reds and whites, like which I think is all very important. Like Windbreaker was like that. A ton of like bright colors to like pull you in, and then how the fights go, it's a little bit different. Like when they kind of get jumped in that alleyway with the kidnappers, I thought it was a really cool scene. Like it's dark out, and they do a good job of like showing off kind of like the characters. The Hijikata and Soji are like pretty ruthless, and I loved how he kind of. I don't think this was like a shout out to One Piece, but it's basically the same line Shanks says in the very beginning. Like if you pull a weapon on somebody, you have to be prepared to die. And Neo stops him, and he's like that guy was never like trying to kill you. And you see like the quick scene where he's like looking, "Yeah, can I run away? Can I get away from this? Probably not. But like, yeah, it was cool to see like the kid kind of be like, yeah, this guy's not trying to kill us. Like, let him go. And that's how we find out about the kidnappers and the daughter.
Well,
His daughter was stolen. Which I was like, damn, you're right. This kid is like extremely perceptive and like emotionally intelligent for being so young.
not only that, but like he didn't just know that oh this guy's not ready to kill, but he knew he's like do they have a hostage? And they're like what? And like he's like yeah they got my daughter. And like how the fuck did you know that? And then he's like he wasn't ready to kill. I saw every time he had his weapon and he had like his sword in his hand, he did not have the intent to kill. He looked like he just wanted to get away, which made me believe that he was forced to do this. I'm like, that's fucking insane. Because he didn't just like connect that, oh, this guy doesn't look like he wants to be here. Why? Oh, probably because of the situation. And he like read the whole thing perfectly. I hope he's also a badass with a sword. But shit like that's so impressive and just was like made the anime so cool. Like just so good.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, and I think it gives the characters a little more depth rather than just being like strong with the sword or like a tough guy, which we all love. That's basically what Kagurabachi is. I'm eating it up every week. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. But it's cool to get the other side of it, and like it fits the MC being a kid more, kind of using like his emotions and his brain. And obviously, we get that super emotional scene at the end, which I would encourage everybody to watch because it's like kind of some real shit. You know what I mean? As a kid and a child, especially in that era, but even now in different parts of the world, like you know what I mean? You're kind of helpless and powerless to the environment around you, and you just have to adapt and
Hmm.
and figure it out and eat it, whether it's good or bad or whatever the situation is. So like for me, hearing that from like a kid MC, it was like, damn, this kid is seeing some things and like he's an adult before he's really an adult. You know what I mean? Mentally. And like we haven't gotten his backstory or anything, but we know they're him and Aroha are orphans. So like you can just assume, it wasn't a typical upbringing, probably
Yeah.
wasn't the easiest. But like his speech at the end, it was like, damn, that was like really well written and something I feel like you don't really get too much in anime from like a little kid MC.
It was an awesome speech. I was like, yo, fuck, this kid's bodying this. And, like, it's crazy because, like, you're wondering, too, like, why is he upset? Like this makes no sense. Like, he's going to join them now, right? But then he kind of realizes, like, you guys used us as bait, didn't you? And, like, oh,
One guy's
yes.
like, yeah, I did.
Sorry. And it's funny because the one guy even admits, he's like, yeah, I'm my bad. I didn't like think that far ahead. I didn't think that, oh, this would, because he's like, all right, well, we can use him as bait. Like, well, they're gonna protect him. Nothing will happen. He didn't think, oh, what if the girl's been psychologically scarred from this? And he's like, I missed that one. My bad. You know what I mean? And he's kind of just like, yeah, like, fuck you. And the other guy's like, she'll be fine eventually. Like, the one dude just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That dude's like Sasuke completely. It's awesome in my
Yeah.
opinion. I absolutely love that guy, and I love how like Neo was able to kind of connect to him with a little bit because like you kind of see like a couple interactions with other people in him, and it's like very standoffish and like very disconnected. And Neo is able to just completely connect with that guy. Like, hey man, you don't like sweets? Like we do have like fried like tofu, and he's like, I'll be back.
All right, I'll see you. And also they give that guy Soji, I think there's at least two, maybe three times when they serve him green tea. It's like piping hot, and he just burns the shit out of himself.
Oh, I don't think it's Soji.
It
It's
was
the other guy.
or Hijikata, yeah.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I thought that was such a nice little touch. Like, right, these are like badass like warriors, and he just keeps getting burnt by this tea served by children. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Like, very cool little details in this anime. For one episode, I was like, yeah, very cool. And it was cool because like we had picked it in that fall preview, so it kind of felt good to get a dub there. Seems like it's good.
Well, one episode. We're not gonna pat ourselves on the back too much here. Like,
We'll wait till we get halfway, and then yeah, we'll check back in.
yeah. Then we'll brag about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, absolutely phenomenal star. I thought it was really, really good. And speaking of blue, we got Blue Lock. Blue Lock was honestly pretty fucking solid this week. I'm not gonna lie. That scene. Well, okay. So you didn't see the movie, right?
I did not see the movie yet. I was gonna watch it probably tomorrow.
The movie kind of pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie. Like the
Is it
movie.
just about Nagi? Is like Nagi the
It's
MC of the movie?
literally Nagi if he was the MC and it was season one. It was Nagi's perspective at Blue Lock for a season, and then they
Which is
spoil
kind of
season
cool,
two at
but
the end.
Nagi's like very like kind of laid back,
He's
apathetic
just
type
one of
dude.
the side characters. Like I feel like you could have made that movie on any other character, but it's like why Nagi? And like what I would have loved to have seen is Ego. I think that's to do with the glasses. I want to see him playing soccer. He was a professional soccer player that was really fucking good. After his career, created Blue Lock. A movie about how that happened would have been way better. You know what I mean? Like why Nagi
Wow, I
above
didn't
all
even
people?
probably the least the smallest personality I think of all the Blue Lock people. Like I feel like even if you use like one of the top six, like obviously Rin would have been a good pick. I mean, I didn't see it yet, but just like based on personalities, like yeah, Nagi's
Bachira,
definitely like
I think he would have been
Bachira
really
would have
good.
been cool.
Yeah.
Um, Meguro, like I don't know, there's just so many like better personalities I would focus a movie on, other than Nagi. Again, I
Also,
haven't seen it, but like yeah, he's just
it
so
wasn't
like
bad. It wasn't
apathetic.
it wasn't like bad. So it was really kind of showing like Nagi and how that switch flipped, where he like didn't care, like was being carried around because he couldn't be bothered to like walk, and then he's like, oh my god, I love soccer, like I love competing, and that like his kind of like admiration and kind of desire for Isagi, like kind of like how that all happened. But it was like it pretty much was like a season one recap, and it was like this would have been really really good if the first season was like 5 years ago or like 4 years ago. It was like not even a year ago. It kind of seems like a waste, especially of resources, when then you have people complaining about the animation of season two. You know what I mean?
I
It's
was
like,
gonna
why
ask
would
you
that
about
happen?
that. Like, does
Oh,
it feel like they poured a bunch?
they did.
They,
I would say that the matches in the movie are pretty fucking sick. They have like scenes of Nagi where like the one glow of his one eye happens, but then the other side is a fucking skull, and it makes Nagi look like a Reaper, and it just
Oh,
looks
sick.
so tough. I will admit the game's art, like it's not bad, but at the same time, it just had me thinking I'd rather see Ego's perspective and how Blue Lock was created, and I'd rather them just
That would
put
be
more
cool.
attention into season two. Because I bring this up because I feel like the animation in this next episode was fucking crazy. Like this past episode was like Isagi turning red, like when the one antenna dude scored the goal, and he was like it's not the soccer I wanted to play, and he was just like fucking red. I was like, oh my, is we getting the villain arc here? Like, is he about to snap? Like, let's fucking go! I thought that was amazing, and then of course the ending scene. But yeah, very good
So
animation.
like, I didn't love the animation. I don't think it's fluid enough. And as somebody,
I
dude,
agree with that.
I don't even want to. I don't. I don't even want to talk about soccer right now. It's dry. The Premier League is driving me insane. But that aside, I was like watching it. I just wish like the attacking and counterattacking when they're coming up and down the field was maybe a little more fluid or a little
Mm,
more like POV. Like if you've got the ball, like see it at your feet and like, you know what I mean? I feel like that would make it a little more, like a little deeper. But it was still pretty cool. Like they still did a decent job. I can see like what the complaints are, but for me, it doesn't detract from the story and the matches that much
mm-hmm.
because like you're so focused on how Isagi's going to pull this out and like the other characters and how they're interacting and defending and attacking and stuff. So like for me, I'm here for the plot. I'm trying to see like what happens. Wasn't bad enough where I was like, yeah, like Uzumaki bad. I've seen some clips. That's rough. I would not put
Oh,
that in the same. Yeah, nah, it's bad. I'm still gonna watch it, but
damn.
oof,
I mean, the
it's
thing
been
with Blue
getting.
Lock is that it's just inconsistent because like you have like a low standard for animation throughout the entire thing, but then like those two scenes that I'm talking about where like all the red and then also the very last scene is like that's when you then pour in 99% of your budget, and it's like you know what, it would have been cool if they could have a higher level consistently throughout the anime instead of just at very key spots, like very minute, like minuscule scenes.
I'm 100% with you. I actually just read I forget where it was, either Google or Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about how little financial overhead, like a lot of animation studios have, because you know how the money goes to the top and all that. But like most companies, like unless it's MAPPA, they're like pretty close to failing. You know what I mean? If something were to happen, which is kind of a shame. But then I always like kind of think of that when I'm like, man, they probably could have done better here. Like not every episode's going to be super crazy. So I try not to like put too much stock into that and
But that's when you're like, why did you drop a movie? That's when you ask those questions.
that was my first thought. Like, I'm sure the movie's really sick and high quality, but like the
Yeah.
what is it? The value and like the hype is in season two, so I feel like it probably would have been better spent there.
And then
But
you
that's just my
spoiled the
personal opinion.
roster. You spoiled most of the roster of fucking season two at the very end of the movie. It's like,
That's
why?
nuts.
Like, that upset
Or
me.
if this had come out like, oh, fucking frozen. Okay, never mind. It's like, I was like, if this had come out like maybe on episode 10 or 11 or whatever, like when it was closer to the unveiling
Yeah.
of the roster, like maybe that would have fit a little better and you didn't feel so spoiled. Like maybe it drops another, one or two additions, but didn't give you the full roster like you're saying. I feel like maybe would have been better timing, but yeah, just not the best executed. But like that last scene when Isagi rips through um
So fucking
Rin
sick.
and
The
what's the other guy's
antenna.
name?
I just call me
Shidu?
antenna,
Yeah,
dude.
and Indu, Shido. I'm like, I can't remember. Where's the I in the end? But yeah, Antenna. That scene where he rips through them is incredible, dude. Super cool, and it fits to Isagi's skills too. It's not like he's like randomly pulling out this like crazy shot from outside the box, like sniping like Rin would or something,
Hmm.
which I thought was cool. That kind of like stuck to who he really is.
But dude, that was so awesome because not only does he rip through and the animation is just fucking sick, you're just looking like, oh my god, the face of the antenna dude and Rin is just so good. But you're like, oh my god, like Isagi is like, nah, you're not one and two. I'm number one, motherfuckers. Like, stand
So
back.
good.
And like, you loved the setup for that too, where he was like, hey, we're playing well together, but then he instantly switches it to, I will fucking devour you. Like, I don't want to just play well with you. Ego said to conquer you, so I will. Stand back, bitch. And he just went in and just literally, he didn't use those words, but I hate that he didn't because he made it so clear of that with the king. I was like, bro, but he devoured the number one and number two guy. And even Ego sitting there looking at, I think his name's Ego, I keep calling him that now, looking at the screen and is like, Isagi, you are stepping your toes into the miracle pool, brother. Like, you are touching greatness. Like, this is something we need to keep an eye on. Because, like, what he did was absolutely outstanding. And going back to, like, last podcast episode that we were talking about, the assassin dude, they kept calling him Crow. We're like he keeps saying that Isagi's the weakest, so he's going to keep shutting him down and keeping him far away. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would you get to the weakest player? You know what I mean? Because even kind of going back to the movie, Nagi even reminded us that he even said that in that game versus Isagi, he said that Isagi was the deadliest person on that field. He was the most worrisome. That's why that last shot where he figured out how to do the direct shot, Nagi was right on his ass. Nagi forced him to evolve to win that game because Nagi was shadowing him that whole last part because he's like, you're the one to worry about. And the assassin was doing the exact same thing here. And he even says in this episode, he's like, since Isagi activated, they're a completely different team. That's stuff that Ego is looking for. Where this player certainly turns it on, and this entire team completely changes into something you need to worry about. I feel like Isagi completely captured what Ego wanted. He like A plus plus, completely checked off all the boxes.
100%, dude. Perfectly put. I think, yeah, when you kind of like think about the build up to that final goal to win the match, like, especially with the setup from the blue-haired kid Hiyori, I think is his name.
Yeah,
I also think
so.
that's a girl's name, but maybe I'm wrong.
It could be both. Megan Musu says both.
That's true. There are unisex names out there, Blake.
Yeah.
But either way, like the setup where he hits that beautiful, what is that kind of pass called? The cross, like the cross into the box. And he's like, I got it. I analyzed it. I thought about it. It worked out exactly the way I acted reflexively and instinctively. And he just misses it. And he's like, oh, my body's not keeping up. Like, I'm not physically impressive enough like these guys, which he's not. And he kind of comes to terms with that and still finds a way around it. I thought that buildup was really cool and really, like, spoke to Isagi's character and gave him some depth. Like, he's not just going to go out there and, make these crazy goals, or like the first goal that Antenna Man scored. He's like backwards, like kicking it like that. It's like, you know what I mean? I don't want to see Isagi score those kind of goals because, like, he's not that guy. He's not built like that.
Also, so those goal names, man. Like those shot names. He's like, oh, he did the reverse banana split. Unbelievable. I couldn't even believe it.
How is that physically possible? Well, it's not. It's like, anime.
Dude, where do they keep coming up with these names, like these passes and these shots? It's like, it amuses me every time. I absolutely love it.
And did you watch? Well, I'll wait to get to that. I felt like one thing I noticed is Chigiri kind of had a really good showing in episode 2 of the season. And he was kind of like a weak link. I think Chigiri kind of led his team. Well, maybe not led his team down, but he got beat twice in this episode. That kind of cost his team.
Well, let's be honest, there's 5 players. That other team, we completely didn't see the other 2 guys at all.
The Predator guy with the Predator hair. Love the design. Love the, Predator nickname. Very cool. Because, like, the Predator has the same hair as him in, like, the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
Big fan. Very big fan. Guy had no scenes, no like passes or shots. Neither did
the other guy too. There's 2 of them that did not even get a second of like camera time. It was absolutely. I don't think they were even in the game. I think it was a 5v3. It doesn't make any sense.
Guy, the big like buff like tanned guy or dark skinned guy, whatever you want to call him, literally has 2 or 3 scenes of him getting muscled by Rin and the antenna guy, just giving up goals. Like literally was just a total liability. So I take it back, Chigiri. It was your teammate's fault, not you.
Yeah, it was the other 2 guys that just weren't being seen the entire fucking time unless they're getting dummied. Like, he did alright.
Because, like, Nanase played extremely well with Isagi because he's like, these other guys are out of my league. Like, me and Isagi can work with the chemistry and skill that we have. And then Hiyori just played to this whole situation, which I was like, yo, perfect. And, like, they had good chemistry coming into the match. So it was kind of cool to see that all, like, work together and see them finish out the match, strong and like win.
Yeah, and people don't realize that Chigiri like he does a lot better when Isagi's kind of like quarterbacking the play because a lot of people forget that he's not like necessarily fast. His top speed is really good. He's been like out like outsped, I guess, in the past because other people had like really high acceleration. So like when you kind of like give him the ball last minute, it's problematic. Like I feel like Izaki used him really well because he knew how to use his top speed instead of needing acceleration involved. So like I feel like he
Really
can
good
be
point.
mismanaged a lot if you don't understand that and you just oh he's just fast. Like nah, he kind of isn't. He just has an insanely high top speed. But like it takes him a minute to get there. Like if you're going to do short distances, you can keep up with him. Like and he's not going to be a problem. But it's when it becomes a long distance thing that you're fucked. You're gonna get burned.
Now you're 110% right because I compared to other sports, like my, god damn it, I was gonna say like compared to other sports, I don't know like the intricacies of soccer, but
Hmm.
like after watching for a couple seasons now and having my heart ripped out every Saturday morning, yeah, go Arsenal, woo! Like all those like attributes are extremely important when you look at your opponent. Like, all right, I need wingers with really good speed, or I need really good ball movement, or I need the pass from the midfield to create chances. Like all that stuff is very applicable, and how Blue Lock kind of brings that to the anime, I think is really well done. And again, I'm like a novice fan, but I feel like they've executed that very well. And like for me, that's what I want to see. That's more important than having like stunning animation or anything like that. Like the story and like the tactics are legit.
That's where it gets complicated, but then we have to move on because like we got still two more animes to talk about.
I know, yeah.
The thing is too is that like where it gets complicated is you're also looking at it from a soccer fan point of view when they're trying to reach everybody. So there's certain things that they're not going to add in because it's too complicated or it's just too boring because you want to make it entertaining for everybody, and that's what made season one so good. Is that like you didn't have to understand soccer to get Blue Lock. You know what I mean? It was so action packed. It was so good. So as long as they keep that up, I feel like it's gonna be solid. One thing I do want to look at going back to season one is season one was amazing because it was so unpredictable. There were so many things that happened. You're like, oh fuck! Like so many good twists and turns. I want to see that in season two. Seeing kind of the roster for, or at least most of the roster for U20 versus Blue Lock. I was hoping it would be mixed up more. I feel like it's kind of predictable. I'm a little worried that season two is going to be too predictable and it's going to lose that ruthless, bloodthirsty Blue Lock feel. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be friendly. I want to see our boys get knocked out. I want to see Chigiri gone. I want to see a lot of other people gone. And I want it to be like that tough thing where it's like,
Fair.
oh yeah, like there's going to be one at the top. Why are we keeping everybody that we like? Because the only person that we lost that was like liked was the blonde haired kid who wanted to be a superhero. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I feel like season two, like it needs to have those twists and turns where like because we know Blue Lock's gonna win because if they don't in a U20 wins, well then Blue Lock's gone, and then what's the anime? You know what I mean? So there's certain things where like there's certain things that are coming up that are gonna be predictable, and it's like how are you gonna add twists and turns that are gonna make this really entertaining? And it's just like I feel like Blue Lock's gonna lose that touch in season two, where it's not gonna be that like because everyone's saying it's like the Squid Games version of like sports anime. You know what I mean? It's ruthless, it's bloodthirsty, it's all about ego. You know, like there's
Yeah.
like fuck your feelings, right? In the first ever episode, Isaki lost to that like the golden boy of Japan. He got kicked out immediately. That was such a shock. You know what I mean? The kid who was like gonna win state or like win nationals or whatever got kicked out on episode one. You know what I mean? So like looking at season two, I want that again, and I'm a little worried going into the rest of the season that we're not gonna have that, and it's gonna be very predictable, and it's gonna lose that grit.
You make a really good point. I'm gonna text you the people I think make the roster, or like however many they like get, and I want to see how close I am because I am with you. Like, you have an expectation and a little bit of evidence to say, like, I know what's gonna be kind of at the end of the season, so like you know how this is gonna play out for a certain amount of episodes. Like, you want it to be more exciting and kind of yeah, like you said, the twists and turns that make it dramatic, that make Blue Lock so exciting. So hopefully they don't lose that, but I'm interested to see like how close I'll get. I'm gonna fire off the list after the pod. We'll see.
To be fair, they don't show everyone. They just show a
All
couple
right,
scenes
that's
in the
true.
locker room, so you can see a good amount of people though. Like out of the what, there's like 11 people. I think you probably see 8 or 9.
All right, that's fair enough. So at least gives you a little room. But yeah, I feel like if you see that many, you have a really good gauge on how things are gonna play out.
Yeah, and you
Which
can
yeah,
tell
fair
the
enough.
last couple are probably some like eh. You know what I mean? So like just kind of
Yeah.
filler. So yeah, kind of disappointed about that. But yo, let's go into DanDaDan. Goddamn, yo, grandma hot as fuck. Like,
I'm madly in love with Momo's grandmother.
yo,
Madly in love with her.
I thought I'd see. You know what I thought I'd see? That woman from like Incredibles. You know the lady with the black hair.
Edna?
Yeah, I thought we'd see like an old little Edna, and that was gonna be her grandma. You know, the old little person who's just like very into like ghosts and spirits, and then we just see this absolute like MILF, and I'm like, hello, like, you know what? I'm kind of warming up to this anime a lot more.
I want to get cursed for sure.
Like Momo, your grandma hot as fuck. Like, it's
Dude, and
crazy.
like she's wearing these like sexy ass outfits around the house. It's like smoking, watching TV. It's like, I love you. Did they like say her name or it's just Granny so far?
I think it's just a granny so far.
Yeah, she was super cool. And the beginning of the episode was awesome with like the warding circles, kind of
Oh
like,
yeah, beat the shit out of Ken.
yeah, it kind of like dispelled the whole like fake spirit medium. Like she definitely
Mm.
knows what she's doing, and like they kind of touch on it a little bit in conversation, about how she like borrows powers from gods based in that area, but they're not hers. You know what I mean? It's not like she has powers; she's just borrowing them, being like a spirit medium.
But
So
that's
like the whole
that.
location and stuff is important and like
Mm.
pertinent to the situations and stuff they're gonna find themselves in, which I thought was cool.
But then that also kind of makes it interesting from Momo's part because like she didn't request, she didn't make a deal with the god of that area for powers. So Momo's unique, Momo's special, which also brings that up. But it's also so cool because like the grandma's intro was the best because I didn't think that she was one of the three missing people on the cover. I never would have expected. Oh, one of them's actually the grandma. That was a total fucking turn. But also at the beginning of the episode, she's like that TV person that's getting everything wrong. You know what I mean? That you're like, oh, who the fuck is this? Like, oh, that's the grandma. Like what? And the grandma's actually like a badass. Like it was just such a 180. It was so awesome.
And I love how she's like, yeah, nobody's even gonna watch this. Like nobody's gonna see all that information come out.
Mm.
And then literally the next scene, she's like in the taxi or the Uber getting dropped off. And the guy's like, oh, I've seen you on TV. And she's just like, yeah, whatever. And then as she's watching TV, she flips through it. And that's the only thing on TV, like her interview with this guy. She like could not care less. Super funny.
Oh, and then she says like, "Oh, like drop me off," and then absolutely whoops Ken's ass. You know what I mean? It shows that actually she does in fact, know her shit. You know what I mean? It wasn't just fake. Like she actually knows her stuff. Just absolutely crazy. But I was dying at that one part where he's locked in the room in that little in the like the shrine, and like they're
Yeah.
sitting there and they're arguing and shit, and the grandma's yelling into Ken like, "Hey, she loves you, bud. Congrats! Like you got
She's
this."
confessing her love. And when they open the door, Ken's like this, and then he like stands up straight. It was like, I feel you, buddy. You wanted to hear it too. It's only episode 3. Take it easy, partner.
Bro, like that was so funny. The grandma's like banter with Momo was like so good. It was so funny. I absolutely loved it. She was absolutely roasting Momo for being out of shape, but then also just like with Ken and stuff. And then oh my god, Ken has to shit. And then
That scene was crazy. I mean, let's be honest. We've all been there. We've all not had access to a bathroom when we need one. But
yeah,
the whole like aspect of her having to like be
watch.
there and watch. Yo, but that scene was crazy. Like, yeah, it's like this
Oh my god,
super comedic
yeah.
scene. And I'm like, oh yeah, like this is really funny.
Mhm.
She's gonna watch my man take a dookie, like pretty funny, haha. And then like
By the way, they're
as
like the
she's
best of friends now. Like this situation has completely bonded them for life, no matter what.
oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
After something like that, especially with the whole missing manhood aspect Ken's got going on there, they're thick as thieves
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And then like when I don't even remember what they were talking about. They were just kind of like um conversing, and then she looks over at her grandmother and she's like got a nosebleed and like the ear blood coming out of her ear. And I saw the manga panel of that bathroom scene, and it was incredible. They did a really, really good job of like animating that. Super sick. And we kind of find out Turbo Granny can curse other people through Ken, and that's kind of like her proposition to Momo, like come back to the tunnel where I'm gonna start killing the people that are around you.
And dude, that scene was like kind of like spooky too. Like the way that the Turbo Granny like filled up like the bathroom and everyone was like just like bleeding out of like everything. And it was just like it added that like creepiness and that seriousness to the scene that was like so funny and so like childish. You know what I
And how
mean?
they changed like the I don't want to call it a filter. That's so like fucking Gen Z of me. Like the lighting, you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
that
yeah.
like sepia tone, or it gets like real gray and like black and white when that one alien invaded. Like I love how they changed that to kind of like amplify like the yeah, like you said, the creepiness and like the heaviness of the situations that they're in.
Hmm. Dude, it was so good. I can't wait. Next episode, finally, we're facing Turbo Granny. That's gonna be absolutely awesome. I'm kind of interested to see what happens because, like I said, I keep seeing like people comparing Ken's like like mixed form with Denji from Chainsaw Man. And to be fair, I feel like if this anime is like Chainsaw Man and we can progress through the season more and it actually develops like more story, I feel like I'm really gonna love this anime. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's what it was for like Chainsaw Man for me. Like in the beginning, I was like, all right, this is kind of cool, but like it was just like really funny. Didn't really take it serious, and then it develops. You're like, oh my god, this is like really fucking good. I feel like it's the same thing with DanDaDan. So like I can't wait for that to happen. But like I keep seeing him in that mixed form. So like how's that gonna work? Because I feel like if they beat Turbo Granny, well then he's not gonna be cursed anymore. He's not gonna have that form. So are they gonna like beat her, and he's gonna be able to like keep the powers or something? Like I doubt he's gonna
I don't
lose
know.
that. Like there's gonna be a way where like something still happens.
I feel like 4, 5, 6 episodes in, they're not going to beat her right away, but they'll probably learn more about her and like curses and the situation. And yeah, I don't think they'll beat her yet, but it'll be a good interaction. And I think especially for Ken, the Chainsaw Man analogy, I feel like is kind of true. You know what I mean? It gives off the same kind of vibes, but Chainsaw Man, both in part one and part two, are like they start so incredibly slow and it takes forever for them to get good. But then once it's good, it's like, yeah, this is peak fiction. So like I definitely feel you. And even if I guess it's taught me to like be a little more patient with shows that I like, and I really do like Down Down On. There's so much hype for it, so like it's got to be good. You know what I mean? Kaiju first couple episodes are a little bit slower.
But that was so
Try not to be
good.
so good, right? So like by the end of the season, I'm sure we'll be like still fanning over it. But hopefully, yeah, it kind of keeps this intensity, and like Momo and Ken's dynamic kind of stays the same way, where they like bicker and argue and make fun of each other.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they definitely are like super good friends.
Oh my god, they're inseparable now. Like they're stuck with each other for life after all the
Like,
shit that they've been through.
quite literally, Ken will die without Momo right now.
Well, for right now, yeah. So I cannot wait to see more going on, but let's get into Miss Servant and then we're gonna wrap it up because man, did we just pile through a fuck ton of animes in a short period of time, which was awesome.
October, baby, let's go.
Bro, like literally facts, man. I'm upset that I watched episode 3 of Yakuza Fiance already. So I'm like, you know what I mean? I kind of just I need more like when I just like go to bed or something. It's gotta like watch a bunch of animes, but like I'm getting through them so quick. Like the second they come out, I'm like, yep, watching that. You know what I mean? Just not waiting. But yo, Miss Servant this week, a lot to kind of talk about, but the big highlight, Yuki's going to school. Like,
Yeah, like we find out they're like, oh yeah, sorry to drop this on you. We have a transfer student, so that was cool to see. She's gonna like start going to school, which I
mhm.
can imagine will probably be pretty difficult and challenging for her. I feel like as an assassin, you're not really, studying Japanese history. We saw her handwriting was extremely unique as
Yes.
but yeah, like the sister points out like her handwriting is unique and stuff. Like it'll really fit in well. I think her going to school with like her just trying to become normal and have like a normal life. Like she has to learn how to do all these normal things, and I think that'll be fun to watch. Um, but I hope they don't lose some of that like edge because I do kind of want to see her be badass and like carry that assassin like background with her.
I feel like it's gonna make school not normal for him because literally right before they announce it, like, hey, have you guys seen that like mystery maid? That like there's just some hot maid running around town. Like I haven't personally seen her, but I keep hearing about her. And he's like, oh fuck, like fuck. I'm like, by the way, new student. I wonder who that could be.
And I love how his friend was like, "Yeah, I love her dedication to the cosplay, like even wearing it to the library." It's like,
And he's
"Yeah,
like, she went to the
sure."
library.
And like I'm sure just like, the other romance animes we've run into or watched this season, as soon as like that connection is established, people are going to be asking the MC about, oh, is this your girlfriend or what's your relationship? You know what I mean? You're definitely right. It will be an abnormal experience
And it's gonna be even
for our
worse.
boy.
Oh, this insanely attractive woman. This is my maid. This is my servant. Like,
My servant, yeah. And how
um,
she calls him like Sama, like master. People are gonna be like,
they also
what?
live together. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, our bro's gonna answer lots of questions. It's gonna be an absolute mess. But I think that that's gonna be so funny. Also, the episode is just really good. I mean, the festival was awesome. The interaction with his sister was really cool too. Yeah, I just thought it was hilarious. I just thought it was just a great episode that was just really enjoyable.
And like kind of light too. Like it was.
Except for the
I
fireworks
thought,
scene.
yeah, I thought when the sister ran away, I'm like, ah, she's gonna, run into like a seedy situation,
Yeah.
and Yuki's gonna have to like show up and save the day, which is cool. It wasn't like that, but then we get that scene where she's like talking about the fireworks, and we kind of get
Hmm.
a blip of her past, and then like the juxtaposition of her like actually enjoying the festival as a normal person, very very cool. I really like that.
Yeah, same. And then I love how like that what you said, like seedy situation, the oh no, she's gonna have to become a badass happens because someone spilled her sauce. She's so
Yeah,
obsessed
yeah.
with the fucking sauce. Something happened to the sister, but the fucking sauce? Unbelievable. We must kill him.
Very relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Tonkatsu is definitely the best shit ever.
I'll have to
So
try
I'm
it.
with Yuki. Yeah, you should, dude. That sauce is no joke. It really is that good.
Like after this goddamn anime, like I need to like go find it somewhere because like she's obsessed. Like, the way that she's like, yeah. By the way, there's like a booth with it, and she just starts salivating. It's like, all right, calm down. Like,
Felcha. Definitely that good. Yeah, but it's really enjoyable. It's been a lot of fun so far, and I've said this before. It's like a nice lighter anime compared
mhm.
to all the others, which have a lot of like action or fighting or some creepy elements. It's a um good complement to all that.
Yeah, I really like it. I think it's actually like awesome. It's super enjoyable. But is there anything else you want to say before we end it out?
I think I brought it up to you, but that episode of One Piece that was animated by
Hmm.
Megumi Ishitani, who is super famous, she's done all the like best episodes of One Piece by far. She did an episode where like it's Marineford, but as like a regular bum fodder Navy soldier. Honestly, made me look at One Piece a little bit differently. And yeah, I don't ever want to be isekai'd into One Piece because I am not that guy. But it was super cool to get that other like viewpoint. I don't know. If you're a One Piece fan, you should go watch it because it was super cool and like kind of hit hard for like that guy having no relevancy in the show whatsoever. Very cool though.
I say it sounds really good. You're gonna have to send me and I'll watch it because it sounds awesome.
I don't think you see certain characters, but I don't think it spoils anything if you haven't made it to Marineford. Maybe I'll have to double check, but I don't think there was any like crazy
Wait,
spoilers.
how far was it? Because I feel like I've gone there already. Was
Marineford,
that base that like no one could escape from, and they did it twice?
no, that's like Water 7, and then oh man, what's Ennie's Lobby.
Oh, that's it. No, there was another one. There's that like that base. It was like a lot of the ports were shut down. I forget what it's called.
Nah, Marineford, I mean you'll definitely know. There's
All
like a
right,
lot of key cast involved.
gotcha. I'm excited to get
Yeah,
back into One Piece though. I'm gonna be doing that at the end of the week. Hopefully, I'm not gonna burn out as quick this time. Hopefully, I'm able to get past episode
whatever
1,000.
pace is comfortable. I feel you.
But yeah, I'm stoked. Anime has been absolutely phenomenal. It has been so good. I cannot wait for the rest of this week. And just everything coming out is going to be absolutely amazing. I think that like we're pacing it too. There's still Kenshin that's coming out, Shangri-La Frontier, that villainous anime. There's still a lot we haven't watched yet, and we're kind of just waiting for later in the season. Maybe some of the dubs to come out so we then binge it. I mean, I didn't talk about it. ReZero, ReZero is fucking incredible. If you've made it this far, what's up? We love you. But if you're watching ReZero, let me know. Is this like one of like the last seasons? Because this season is going hard right now. Like
I think
everyone's coming out.
that was the number 2 episode this week. ReZero. That was like I think it was Bleach, ReZero, and Blue Box were one, two,
Yeah,
three.
like ReZero is absolutely insane. It makes it feel like it's like one of the last seasons, just because everything is happening. Just when you think like you kind of get a grasp of it, it's like, oh nope, there's more, and it's like, oh,
Psych.
awesome. It's like, what the fuck is going on? So
I
I
think
can't wait.
I know I've said like yeah that'll be the next anime I watch, but after seeing like all the hype for it, I really do kind of want to get into ReZero. I do have to watch that. I'm long overdue.
It's really, really good. I do recommend you watch Arcane first, but ReZero is definitely
Oh,
ReZero's one
true,
to
true.
ReZero's okay. Arcane's one to binge. ReZero's one to pace because if you binge it, like I don't know, like I binged it and like it's really good the way it shows like mental health shit. So it'll kind of drain you mentally if you watch it if you like binge the fuck out of it because you're watching
Fair
this
enough.
dude do the same thing over and over again and fail over and over again, and you see him mentally decline to the point where he like snaps, and then when he snaps, you kind of feel like you're gonna snap too. And then it's all better, and then you feel rejuvenated again. You're like, "Let's go!" But then the same thing happens again, and you're like, "Oh my god, we're back!" It's like the vicious cycle that we're
Yeah.
living in his life. So I definitely think pace that one out. Kind of just watch maybe like an episode a day, but binge Arcane, really good, really really good. And that's
Yeah, I'll
coming
do
out.
that next.
Actually, I saw that. It's actually coming out in 3 parts. Arcane is, so I don't know how that's happening. I guess they're not doing it like an episode a week, but like in groups. And the first one's coming out like I think next week. No, in like 2 weeks. Yeah, in like 2 or 3 weeks. It's like soon. So like I cannot wait. I'm
Perfect
so
time to
stoked.
to get with it. All
Yeah,
right, dope.
but hey, listen. That is it. We hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your week. And if you're watching anime, you 100% will. But that is it. More videos to come on a bunch of different animes because we're again going to be doing our fall, check in and then some other stuff. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you guys next week. And peace.